I'm not up here writing a memoir. I'm getting logged into my agenda here. Denise, are you good to go? Sure. We can wait. Okay. All right. Meeting is called to order. And the first order of business is the public hearing on integrated guidance. So we will take a brief recess from the regular meeting and open the public hearing. Brent?
Thank you. This was presented as draft last time. It is actually on for action this time, and we'll share a little bit later on that. But just welcome any public comment if there's any here today.
Thank you. Do we have any members of the public here to speak on the integrated guidance plan? No one online either. Okay. Hearing none, the hearing is closed, and we will now reopen the regular meeting and accentuate the positive.
Good evening, board. Kaylin Cross, proud principal of the Pirate Ship. Welcome here today. I heard something about how nice the chairs are. Hope you're enjoying those. Anywho, I'm actually going to share the wealth a little bit today. I know that in the past, sometimes I talk about some of the things that the student reps also talk about, but we're going to try and share the wealth today. So a couple of things in the academic realm. We are finishing up our English Language Arts Smarter Balance assessment this week. Our juniors are required to take that. We'll be doing science next week, and then in a couple of weeks, jump into math. But we've just been really impressed by the dedication of our juniors and the focus that they've had in completing that standardized test. We've been talking a lot about why it's important, why when they'll jump into standardized tests later in their lives, and why it's an important practice for us to do. And so they're really taking their time on that. And I think our teachers have been really impressed with that. Additionally, our Future Planning Center has been busy all year, but last night hosted an Oregon University's tour where several representatives came and gave talks just about different campuses and what is offered in different places. We had a little bit lower attendance than we'd like because of the weather, but it was successful all the same. And then I know that a lot of you are already aware of the situation that happened, that there was a bus accident on our girls basketball on the way home from their tournament in Eastern Oregon. And I just wanted to thank everybody who was involved in just making sure everybody was safe. First student was amazing. Our driver, Alan, just made some really great decisions and just made sure everybody was safe. We're really appreciative of him. Janelle, just being here when kids and families got back. Brent and Tiffany and your support. Dave just communicating right away, turning around and making sure kids got what they needed. Our coaching staff just keeping kids calm in a situation that could have been, I mean, it was really scary, but could have been even more scary had they not been able to kind of just take care of kids. And so although that is not a positive, just the way everybody rallied was a positive. And so I wanted to publicly thank everybody who was involved in that. We also had some other events, but like I said, I'll share the wealth. I'm going to pass it along actually to Dave.
Thank you, Kaylin. Hello, everyone. A couple of things. We've been super busy around here with things. We hosted the district wrestling tournament a couple of weeks ago. And we taught Sarah how to be a scorekeeper for the day. She got a really good, she did a great job. And so many people helped make for a really good event. We only have to do that once every 7 years, so we can forget about wrestling for a little while. 5 of our DECA kids qualified for the national event coming up in where is it? I think it's Seattle. No, Orlando. That Polly knows where it is. So that's where they're headed. They just bought the plane tickets today, and I think you go through Seattle on the way there. And the last thing is wrapping up winter sports, which we'll do officially Monday night. We'll have our end of season event here. Of our 95 winter sport athletes, 64 of them had a GPA of 3.0 or higher. So really pleased with that. Thank you, everyone.
Good evening, everyone. It's nice to be here. I'm Catherine Holden, the principal of Talent Middle School. I feel like I want to give credit. I read these, but Allison actually writes them each month. So I just want to say thank you for doing that. and I feel like I want every word to count. So the snow was very exciting at Talent Middle School, and for middle school kids, as you might imagine, it's really hard not to play with snow and sometimes get hurt with snow. But overall, our kids did a really, really great job of enjoying the snow and recognizing how beautiful snow can be and recognizing that we love snow. And yet they were really good about not getting hurt with the snow. So we appreciated that. And then also a huge thanks to our incredible custodial and maintenance staff for all their hard work to make sure that the sidewalks were clear. And specifically, Stephen McCormick, he does such a nice job of making sure things are ready. He was even on the actual snow day. He had already been there an hour expecting that he might have to open the school. And so I said, well, thank you for all you do, but go home, be safe, and get some rest. This week, we also spent some time on our staff meeting focusing on high leverage engagement strategies. And it was just a really nice time to connect with our staff and think about that. And I wanted to thank Jamar Boyd for leading the workshop for all of our teachers. And we included our instructional aides, and everybody really dug in and did a nice job of thinking about some of those things that we can be doing to help our students not only engage with the learning, but actually engage with each other. So really thinking about discourse and structured talk and how to get kids to be, interacting with each other so they're constructing meaning as they're learning. And lastly, winter sports wrapped up this week. Thank you to our girls basketball coaches, Misty Hutzel, Lisa Richardson, and Cameron Romo, and our wrestling coaches, Ronnie Thompson and Tony Bench, for successful seasons. Next week marks the start of our spring sports at Talent Middle School. And we're super excited. We already have 90 athletes signed up for track and field. So we're excited to get that going soon. Thank you so much.
I've never realized how short I was, but on the angle, like you couldn't even see me. That was funny. That's not necessarily a funny thing, but it's real. No, I was just kidding. Brandon Hammond, Orchard Hill Elementary. I have 2 documents that I gave to Denise, and she'll pass those out to you later. But I just wanted to share some highlights. We just did our mid-year review a little bit ago. And you'll see that in reading from the beginning of the year till right now, the students grew 18%. And that's just the students who are on track. The other group was math, and they grew 15%. Now, the scores are still not exactly where we want, but the whole point of the growth is that students are growing. On the back side of the paper, you'll see I did a comparison from last year at this time in winter. And in reading, we had about 59% at this time for students making the growth that they needed. So 59% last year. This year, we're at 78%. So 19% difference from last year to this year. Huge growth in reading. And then in math, not as big as growth, but still growth. We had 43% for annual growth this time last year in math, and this year was 54%, so 11%. And then the second piece of paper that I got, and I hope this is okay. So the only way that this is possible is an absolute collected effort. And I have 27 certified staff and 26 classified staff. And I gave you the list of our staff, and every single staff member made this growth possible. And I am so bad at saying thank you, but I wanted it to be on documentation that I really am so appreciative of every single one of our staff. So thank them for the growth. Thank you.
Good evening, board. Heather Lowe from Talent. How's everybody doing? Nice to see you. Talent has a few things to share. We had our building level OBOB competition today, which was heated, I heard. I didn't get to participate, but 36 students got to participate in that, and we have a winner from our building that we'll be sending off to regionals. It's a girl power team again from ODP. So I'm pretty excited about that. I want to thank Heather Wolf, Kathleen Lemke, Glenna Roberts, and Gwen Barrett for their work to organize and run that today. Also, next week is Classified Appreciation Week. And it's the week where we really get to dote upon all of our amazing paraprofessionals that help make our schools actually work. We depend upon them highly. So I just want to publicly say thanks to that group of employees. Also next week, I know Shauna's going to try to compete with me for fun, but on Friday we have a family dance. Our PTA is putting on a Space Jam family dance. If you want to come, it's only $2. You'll get a glow stick. You're gonna so competition's on. But it should be pretty fun. I'm really just really grateful for our kind of our like new life in our PTA that now that we're kind of back to normal life. So it's been fun to see little new iterations of old traditions. So that's happening. Also coming up on March 15th, we're having our next family engagement night, which will be family night, fun night with reading. Everybody's like, that's such a cheesy title. I go, no, it is fun. We're just celebrating the growth and our focus on, what we're doing with our to build capacities at home. And then last but not least, this week we wrapped up our first round of SART, which is the Sexual Assault Response Team. Jackson County SART comes to our schools and teaches lessons about appropriate boundaries and consent. And they just do such a great job. And this gal, Ava de Rosier is her name. She's new to our building. People were just raving about her. And I can attest, I saw 2 of their presentations, a second grade and a kindergarten, and it was very much developmentally appropriate and just really sweet lessons about like how to get consent about body space. For like the kindergarten one today was really cute. Doug doesn't want to hug, we learned. So it was just really great, and appreciate that partnership with Jackson County. So that's it.
I know it's always a bit of a competition. My name is Shauna Schleif, principal at Phoenix Elementary, and I just want to be like, next time I'm going to go before Heather because I just want to say ditto to everything. We also had our OBOB competition last week, and we have 35 students also participating in that with 5 teams. So our 4th grade team, the African Lions, are going to be participating in regionals. So I want to give a shout out to Zoe Boyles, Pam Ward, and Christy Dixon for helping facilitate that. And we also had several parent volunteers to help support that. It was a super great day. I want to echo what Kristen said about our custodial crew. Just over the last few weeks with all of the snow, the late starts, things like that, there's been extra duties to help make sure our sidewalks are safe and things like that. So I want to give a shout out to Dave, Mike, and Dustin at PES. They are fantastic. We do have our spring concert on March 10th and my guess is that we'll probably have a bigger crowd than TES. I'm just guessing because it's the whole school coming, but it's our spring showcase. Today and tomorrow we're doing rehearsals in our gym during PE and music time, and it's going to be a great show. The kids are doing a great job. So I'm really thankful to our 2 music teachers, Wendy and Andrea, for that. And then our family fun night with family reading fun night was supposed to happen on our snow day. So that's being postponed to the week of the 16th. And it will, that is also the week we have book fair. So I think it's going to be a nice addition. And then finally, the nice thing about Classified Employee Week is that we do get to dote on our wonderful classified employees, but it's also a chance for teachers to show their creative side. So we're doing a theme of Let's Fly Away. So every day we'll have in-flight snacks, in-flight reading, in-flight entertainment, baggage claim, and then on Friday will be first class meal service. So excited about that. All right, who's next?
Just real quick, OBOB is Oregon Battle of the Books.
Good evening, board. Aaron Santi, principal at Phoenix Talent Rising Academy. Just one note I want to make for you guys tonight. So since PTRA started, we've had several students and families who've gone on extended trips far out of the valley. And so we've been able to keep them in our district due to serving those students online. And so over the last 2 years, we've had students doing their classwork from Mexico, Caribbean, Alaska, North Carolina, and most recently India. So previous to PTRA, all of these students would have had to have been dropped from our roles. And then when they'd have been gone, come back perhaps behind in their classwork. But now these students can keep up, continue to have them in our district, continue to serve them and their families. And so we're really pleased to be able to offer that. And I also want to thank specifically the tech department for making those things happen. It's not just as though from India, you can just log on to Google Classroom. There's a lot of steps in between, which I have learned about because I just told the families, yeah, just get on Google Classroom, it'll be fine. Turns out it's more than that. So Alan and his team have done a great job keeping them connected. So I want to thank them too. And that's it for PTRA. We can ask next time somebody goes out of the country.
Thank you and good evening. Amy Hunt, food service director, and Josh here is our third dietitian intern. And actually, in your packets, there's some information about an event that we're really excited to share with you. We are bringing back Future Chef this year. So we've had a few years off because of COVID, and actually, we're the only district in the Rogue Valley for Sodexo who's bringing it back this year. So I'm excited to announce that and hopefully put a little key in that, we need a few more judges. Jeff Ashman has actually volunteered to step in and come back to see everyone and be a judge. Just trying to convince some of our wonderful principals here because I think the kids would love to see them up there too. But we are still working on those flyers. I just wanted to get them out to you. Josh has been working really hard on them. He's going to make a few edits, and then Marissa will actually translate for us. And I don't know if you guys knew, but she has been translating all of our menus for me this year. And I just want to give a big thank you and shout out to her because I can throw a lot of menus at her really fast and it turn around, and 2 days later, she's got them done and ready for me. So thank you.
Thank you so much.
So I'm Rosario Medina, Community Care Coordinator stationed at Towns Elementary. And we've been working really hard all this year, and we've done some amazing things. We're planning some amazing things in the future. So I just want to give everyone an update. The biggest thing for me, in my opinion, is the housing fair we had. It was amazing. There was magic in that room. Our Spanish-speaking parents and English-speaking parents had the opportunity to ask industry experts any questions that they had about housing, and they got some great information. And it was these people created such a safe place for our parents to ask really questions that you wouldn't think you want to ask in front of a group of people, like about their credit, building their credit, or something that seems like a simple, everyone should know the basic about this loan, right? But they were like, well, what about this and what about that? And then you found they started learning off of each other too, and it was really great. It was beautiful. Translated really well. We had 15 current families in our district attend. We had 4 outside the district who were burnt out of housing and want to come back. For a total of 34 people in the Adult Learning Center at Phoenix Elementary. It was really cool. So I really love that. And we're planning a second one. We're going through all the data. We ask for feedback so that we can do more housing informational nights, but targeted to the specific needs that our families have. Coming up on April 15th, we're going to be doing a health and wellness fair. So just have resources in our community like Únete, La Clínica, a whole bunch of others to come in one place where families can see what's out in our community that can help them. So far, we have 15 vendors officially signed up, with more who have committed to it, but they still haven't filled the paperwork yet. And then today, we started a Kaleidoscope group. There's a little flyer in your guys' folder that I had Denise hand out, and that is a preschool. Well, it's a 0 to 5-year-old play group where families can connect. So today we had 3 families, 4 little kids, but it was so cute because these are little pandemic babies who are just starting to realize there's other people other than me in the world. And so Randy Wilson is the person facilitating that from Kaleidoscope, and she did a great job. They had a whole bunch of time for free play. And then they did snack, and then they had a little reading time and a little circle time. And circle time was maybe a minute, and then the kids started kind of wandering around, but they were still singing the song, so progress. So, and then the families made these great connections. 2 of the families realized that their preschoolers were going to be in kindergarten at the same time, and they were thinking different programs, so they started talking about that and just really connecting. And I don't think they would have made that connection before. So I'm wanting to promote that more and getting more people in. It's awesome. And then last but not least, Yesenia, our new community care specialist for secondary, started this week. I am so excited. She got to meet some people at the high school, at the middle school. She really wants to get her hands in. She's like, what can I do? And it's you got to do trainings first. So hold your horses. But I'm really excited to have her on our team and expect great things from her as well. Thanks.
Thank you so much. Anything from the board?
It was super fun to go to the Skyline Conference and have, I learned about red and green in wrestling. which I didn't know anything about wrestling. So kudos to Dave for, letting me come play with that, and for the student from Hidden Valley who helps me figure that out. But there's a student, and I wish he hadn't left because maybe Kaylin knows her name. There's a student who pretty much set up the gym, probably with help from the maintenance staff, for that meet. And she was like the go-to girl for that meet. And she said, I was here, last night I was here, at 6:45 this morning, and I will be here until the last mat is rolled up. And so I am ashamed that I don't know her name or don't remember it, but kudos and shout out to her, because you could just tell that she really loved serving the students and the wrestling team here in this community. So super fun.
Thank you, Sarah. Any more?
Sorry about that. I just wanted to thank the community again. I know I do that often, but just being at different school events like the FFA, I'm not going to spoil it. It's just great to see the community and parents, and anytime there's anything needed, it's like we're gonna rally, we're gonna make sure this is the best for the kids. And it's really nice to see the community always getting together, and parents understanding, like, it's not just about my kid, I want all the kids to succeed. So it's really nice seeing that, and I've been reminded that a lot this last week. So I want to thank the community for that.
Thank you, Dawn. Anything else? I'll sort of piggyback on that because I had a chance to attend all things CTE the last couple of weeks. I went to the CTE night that was hosted here on the 22nd. And speaking of our community and their support, I think education in the early 90s, we went through this period of time where it was everyone needs to go to college and it's all academics. And then we realized maybe that's not the right path for everyone. So Measure 98 brought additional investment into career and technical education. The problem is you also need facilities to support those programs, and the funding does not support facilities. So if it weren't for our community and their investment in our facilities, it would be more difficult for us to have the CTE programs that we do. And what a great job by the students and staff to highlight what's happening with our CTE programs around the school. It was extremely well attended. I could not believe how many people were here. That was awesome. And it was just really neat to get an inside look at the programs going on in our school. And after I'm sorry I didn't make it to everyone's class, so I apologize for that. But after seeing Brad Jones's auto shop and seeing the presentation, and he talked about students and staff bringing their cars in for oil change, I thought about the fact that my truck's been telling me for weeks that I need an oil change. And so I scheduled an appointment with Brad, and I brought my truck in for an oil change. And I'm not going to say I wasn't nervous to have teenagers lift my truck up into the air, but they did a really, really good job. And I want to especially, all the kids did a great job, but what I was really excited to see is there was a young lady in the class named Abby, who was clearly the leader of this group and just made sure things were running smoothly. And as the kids are lifting my truck, she looks at me and she goes, "Is this making you nervous?" and I said, "No, not really. I trust you guys." And she said, you're going to be glad I'm on your team. So there was two groups of kids doing oil changes. So that was really, really cool experience. And again, I mean, we have a state-of-the-art auto shop, a state-of-the-art welding facility, state-of-the-art kitchen. All these things are top notch. And kudos, John. I know it's a heavy lift to maintain all of that stuff. But again, thank you to our community for not only supporting it with the facilities, but continuing to support our programs and to send your kids here. And just an awesome thing, and really makes me proud of this district. So thank you. Did you have something else there? Okay. Okay, great. Thank you so much for all the positive news. We appreciate it. And now we'll go to the student representative report. And Peyton's with us again. Thank you, Peyton. Turn it to you.
So first off, like Dave said, spring sports have started this week. Baseball has about 25 boys out, and softball has about 21 to 22 girls out. Track and field has a little over 100 kids. All that recruiting works. And then our tennis and golf teams are growing a little by little each year, so that's kind of cool. Our FFA auction went really well this past weekend. They fundraised $170, and they are just so thankful and so grateful for the entire community that showed up because they were not expecting that big of a number, trust me. So Miss Rodriguez and all the FFA kids are just overjoyed right now. Also, our grad night committee is having an annual auction on May 7th at Stone River Winery to raise money for the class of 2023's grad night party. And the seniors have voted on this year's prom theme, and they have decided on Old Hollywood. So we're all really excited about that. And that's all I got.
Thank you so much, Peyton. Do we have any? I don't think we have any student reps joining us online. All right. Okay. Thank you. Okay. We'll now move to citizens' comments. Did we receive any comment or did we have anybody who wished to speak, Denise? Did anyone fill out? Okay. Do we have anyone online who wishes to speak? Just raise your. I see the mayor has joined us. I'm not sure if she wishes to speak, however. So, okay. All right. Well, thank you for joining us. We will move to the superintendent report. Brent?
Thank you, Chair Campbell. I just want to reiterate, Rosario shared some of the activities the community care group has been doing. And truly, those are life-changing. The housing support, some of the comments, and this is what she shared afterwards, some of the quotes were, I didn't know we were so close to being able to afford our own home and buy our own home. That's life-changing stuff. And then we have Kaleidoscope and great opportunities for kids. So thank you for the community care. I continue to say that's a 3-year grant, and we're supposed to have a plan and do some amazing things after 3 years, but we're 7 months in and some unbelievably amazing things are happening. So yeah, it was mentioned next week is classified week. Just want to share that we do have goodies for our classified staff from the board. And then we are going to be delivering those on certain days of the week. I just want to share Phoenix Elementary and Phoenix High School. We plan to share those on Monday. So if any board, and we'll email you out these times too. And then Talent Elementary and Talent Middle School will be Friday. And those will be different times. So you could do both of those schools if you'd like to, or you can split that up as a board, however you want that. And then Orchard Hill will be Wednesday morning. So that'll be great. I don't typically respond this fast, but in feedback about 35 minutes ago, the board wanted some data on some academics, how students are progressing. And so Brandon, thank you so much for providing this data in a timely fashion. And as I walked by Chair Campbell, he said, wow, that was fast. But no, thank you. And yeah, again. But thank you. Also, just want to end, and Summer's here tonight. I just want to share that she has shared with her staff and her board that she's stepping down as executive director of ATI. She will be supporting ATI as we continue throughout next year. But I think the board echoes my thoughts and our staff's thoughts that she really saved ATI actually, and has been doing an amazing job for kids and families and visiting that school and what what her and her staff do every day is truly amazing. So we look forward to the rest of our time with her and getting a contract put together for ATI. But I wanted you to hear it from us or me or Summer or whatever before you heard it out in the community. So thank you, Summer, for all you've done, and look forward to our rest of our time together. That's all I have.
Thank you, Brent. And I do believe the mayor did wish to speak. She does have her hand up. So I'm going to spare everyone my long preamble, but I'll just say, Mayor, welcome. And we will give you 3 minutes to speak. And go ahead.
Thank you, everybody. And thank you, board, for the great work you do. I won't take 3 minutes. I apologize. I'm on my phone and I was trying to figure out how to turn all my stuff on. So, yeah, I just wanted to let the board know I contacted board member Dawn sometime last week or maybe over the weekend. I don't remember. Apologies if it was over the weekend, Dawn, but to talk about some of the modifications and that we have done to the Tura plan in response to the county's recommendations. So we've adopted a lot of the recommendations that they provided for us and made some modifications to the plan. So in essence, we sort of have like a third iteration of the plan. You know, we decided in August after the first plan and public hearings that we would modify the plan and present it to our partner jurisdictions, give everybody an opportunity to give us feedback and make suggestions and recommendations. And then we would send that plan to the voters in May. So that decision was made back in August. We decided that by resolution, and we sent that second iteration plan out. We got some, like I said, really great feedback and consideration and suggestions from the county. We really appreciate it. In many ways, we believe that this version of the plan that we now have is made much, much better by some of the great recommendations from the county. And in discussion with Dawn and discussion with the city manager, we're preparing another presentation of the, you know, kind of the revised plan. And the city manager is making herself available if the board wishes to get a review of that. And so in some ways, I guess what I'm asking for is if the board is interested, we'd love to get on your next agenda. Again, I know Jordan has carved out time for that, and we'll be providing the revised plan to all of the jurisdictions. But I know that you know, we try to get before you guys before with our plan, and we'd love to, you know, just invite ourselves to your board meeting and see if we can present you with the modifications. So I'll have if we can get on your next agenda, that'd be great. I'll have Jordan reach out and just see if that's going to work. Respected chair, and thank you so much for giving me a minute. Yeah, we'd love to bring this great new version to you that'll be on the May ballot.
Thank you so much, Mayor. We'll definitely take you up on that, and we'll coordinate everything with Brent and Jordan. So thank you. Appreciate
Yep. Terrific. I'll ask Jordan to reach out.
Awesome. Appreciate it.
All right.
So much.
Yep. Thank you.
Okay. We will now move to the consent agenda. I have a motion.
I moved.
Go ahead. You go.
I move to approve the consent agenda as presented.
I'll second.
Any objections? Hearing none, the consent agenda is approved. Action items. First action item is the integrated guidance plan. I have a motion.
I move approval of the integrated guidance plan, application and budget for submittal to ODE as presented.
Thank you, Sarah. Second.
I'll second.
Seconded by Rebecca. Thank you, Rebecca. Any discussion?
I just want to say that I appreciate Aaron's and the district's lift and really how comprehensive it was to understand and really how it does seem to make sense and hopefully take the burden off of every individual thing to report for. So I found it really informational and helpful. So thank you for that heavy lift.
Brent.
Yeah, and I want to make sure we call out Yasmin because since our last, when we put the plan together, she really had to budget and put things together and balance that budget of the SIA and high school success and the business department and all the staff that were involved in creating that plan as well. So thank you.
Great. Any more discussion? Hearing none, we will vote. Rebecca,
Yes.
Sarah,
Yes.
Dawn,
Yes.
Rick,
Yes.
Nancy,
Yes.
Polly.
Yes.
I vote yes. Motion passes. Next is the academic calendar. A motion.
Make a motion on that, that we adopt the 23-24 academic calendar as been presented to us.
I'll second.
Thank you, Rick and Rebecca. Discussion?
Just go on record again saying really appreciate the extra days at the beginning and then the increase in instructional hours as well in the school year. So looking forward to moving towards that.
Thank you. Anything else? Okay, we will vote. Rebecca,
Yes.
Sarah,
Yes.
Dawn,
Yes.
Rick,
Yes.
Nancy,
Yes.
Polly.
Yes.
I vote yes. Calendar is approved. You can mark that one off, Brent. Speaking of heavy lifts, okay. Now we'll move to some policies. The first is policy CPA, layoff and recall for administrators. I have a motion.
I move to adopt the recommended changes as presented to policy CPA, layoff and recall for administrators.
Second.
Second.
Thank you, Rick, for seconding. Thank you, Polly, for the motion. Discussion? Okay, we will vote. Rebecca,
Yes.
Sarah,
Yes.
Dawn,
Yes.
Rick,
Yes.
Nancy,
Yes.
Polly.
Yes.
I vote yes. Policy is approved. Next is GCAA, Standards for Competent and Ethical Performance of Oregon Educators. Have a motion?
I move to adopt the recommended changes as presented to policy GCAA, standards for competent and ethical performance of Oregon educators.
Thank you, Sarah.
I'll second.
Go to the tapes on that one. Who was first? Nancy, okay. Thank you for the motion, Sarah. Thank you for the second. Nancy by instant replay. And we will, any discussion on this one? All right, we will vote. Rebecca,
Yes.
Sarah,
Yes.
Dawn,
Yes.
Rick,
Yes.
Nancy,
Yes.
Polly.
Yes.
I vote yes. Policy is approved. GCPA, reduction or recall of licensed staff. Of a motion.
I move to adopt the recommended changes as presented to policy GCAA.
Thank you. Just for, it's GCPA. It's okay. Yep, that was, thank you. That's the one before. Oh, okay. Sorry. Okay. You read the right thing. This wasn't in the right spot. Okay.
I'll second that.
Thank you, Polly. Thank you, Rebecca. Discussion? Okay. Rebecca,
Yes.
Sarah,
Yes.
Dawn,
Yes.
Rick,
Yes.
Nancy,
Yes.
Polly.
Yes.
I vote yes. Policy is approved. We're scheduled for a recess. feeling about a recess? We're about 25 minutes ahead of schedule. We good? Okay. Information and discussion, facilities and bond update. Oh, so yeah, they're professionals. They can leave or not. It's like in the classroom, right? You need a hall
Who's
pass.
gonna be the first one? You're welcome to stay, but I think we'll get through this pretty quick, but
Yeah.
you can also head out as well.
And we will judge the first person who leaves. No, just kidding. Peyton, if you have to go, we understand. Good man, Dave. All right. I should have done like a 1-minute recess in retrospect. Okay. John, thank you.
Good evening, board. Can you hear me? Okay. I actually, super quick update. One, haven't heard anything on the grant proposals that we sent out yet, but I do at least expect to hear on the New American Schools grant soon. And then the other thing was we did the one walkthrough with the contractors for the CMGC for TES and TMS today, and I received a proposal for the architect for TES and TMS. We actually had a few architects show up for that walkthrough. Only received one proposal. That's the bad news. The good news is it's architect Chris Brown. He did Orchard Hill. He did Phoenix Elementary seismic, and he's been a great partner to work with.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thank you.
Any questions for John? Okay. Financial update, Brent?
Yeah, you have a financial report in your packets, and the only modification from previous financial reports is we haven't put the ADM security monies on here for 22-23 because we haven't actually pulled those yet because they're actually not available yet. But I do have good news to report that we got a lot of clarity from ODE with the help of our local legislature to really ask about how we access that and when we can spend it. And Yasmin is really happy about the process now. And so now we have a plan for the rest of that ADM security. So when we are able to pull it, I think it'll be this is a truer number essentially because we haven't pulled those funds. When we do pull those funds, we'll put that in that financial report.
Thank you so much.
Yep,
Any
that's all I have.
questions? It's good news to get some clarity on the ADM security because I know that was a concern. So thank you. Okay. Legislative / OSBA update.
Okay, I have a lot. I try to condense it, but I want to start off in saying that thanks to Greg Limhouse and Carrie, because that conversation of the ADM security came up, and as soon as he left Representative McIntyre's meeting, she was like, "What is going on? How can I help?" So it was really good. And then he had a meeting the next day with Pam Marsh, which this was her bill, and she was, "What's going on?" And I thank Brent and Yasmin for like getting back the answers and helping the legislators get the ball rolling for us. So next weekend is OSBA Board of Directors via Zoom, Friday night and Saturday. And then Rural Schools, we are slowly getting stuff together. My subcommittee met and we did the mission and goals in like 45 minutes. I think it's a record. We'll see how that goes. They have to go back to the bigger committee and go on. I got an email today about the qualifications for rural schools. That was a comment at the annual convention up in November, and we're probably going to change the qualifications. I'll get you more on that. We're going to meet Friday night before the other meetings. So I'll have more on that. So to legislation, I know you guys are all super excited about that part. So House Bill 3101, which is the panic alarms in schools. That was in discussion at OSBA. And the thing that's coming up with that I wanted to bring up to here is that the question is, where does the panic call go? And for rural schools, is there enough resources when a panic call comes in? And what is the time of those resources? Because just saying, hey, every school needs to have a panic alarm, are you really doing what's beneficial to the kids? Like, can that town actually give the resources that you're thinking the legislators in Salem are thinking they're going to get? And so there's been good conversation about safety in schools and you know, what police departments and fire departments and time of calls and all of that. So that's a really good outcome of that. How Senate Bill 773 abbreviated days, we're still they're still trying to push that through by March before spring break. Everybody's keeping an eye on it and we'll keep you updated. I don't have any updates, but maybe Sarah or Brent might. Senate Bill 48, truancy bill, which restores the penalty. There's a hearing on that on the 7th. So that I know I've heard a lot from staff that saying that they wanted that. Senate Bill 49 requires school activities. Oh, this one is the reason I put this on there. It is a work session or whatever. They want a study group, and it will be studying the availability of competition-sized swimming pools at public and private secondary schools in the state. So the hearing is on the 7th. The reason I wanted to bring that is for Sarah and Mr. Ford, but if they are going to do this, do a study, I think that it's something that we want to keep an eye on and maybe be involved on, because sometimes studies turn into money. So I would keep that on our radar. I think Sarah's probably going to volunteer for that one. Senate Bill 848 requires each school district board develop a written plan establishing climate change instructional program for kindergarten through 12th grade, no later than June 1st, 2026, which is a long ways away. And that hearing is on the 9th. Senate Bill 575 directs Department of Education develop and implement a statewide plan for students who are eligible for special education who have experienced disappropriation results due to education and historical practices. And that hearing is on the 14th. Senate Bill 524. Can't remember when this, I think the hearing is on the 14th for that. And it is the Criminal Justice Commission that is going to do an advisory panel on identifying specific crimes for convictions for individuals, for licensures and registration for teacher standards and practices. If remember, that came up a couple of years ago about changing what a felon would be for the teachers standards and practices, and so that they're going to want to make that a advisory council. And so that's just something to kind of keep an eye out on, see how that goes. I don't have any information, but I think they're going to have I think the work session was on the 14th. I didn't put that on there. And then Brent might be able to help. Division 22 standards. There's talk about the Menstruation Dignity Act that was just passed last year to move that to Division 22 standard. So I'm personally keeping an eye on that because I think the Division 22 standards are already huge. And if we're going to keep on adding bills passing on Division 22, I think there's, you know, that's, I don't know if it's unfunded mandate, but that's a mandate where it's a big thing. And I'm not sure why we need to move bills into Division 22. So I'm kind of curious about that. And then I wanted to thank Tiffany and Brent, sorry, my alarm's going off. Tiffany and Brent and for testifying lately, and for Greg and Carrie to helping us through all this. I think it was huge. Thank you, Brent, for hiring. I think that's a huge way to get our voice and kind of recognize more things that are going on state level, and definitely with them helping with the ADM security. I mean, that was a huge thing that I don't think would have moved as fast without them. So I don't know if Sarah wanted to add anything. Yes, please do.
So, some of you know, all of you may know, local school board member, Emily McIntyre was voted as the, House District 56, new state legislative representative, for that district. And so she's up in her, freshman year or season in, Salem, and she's reached out to school board members statewide. She's gonna be on a visual, it's Microsoft Teams meeting on Sunday evenings from 7 to 8 p.m. And she's serving on the House Education Committee. And so she's gonna answer questions that you can submit to her. She's gonna give kind of a one, kind of a class on how, or just talk about how to submit testimony, what's happening and how it's important to be aware as school board members of what's happening during the legislative session, because the policies that we just voted on this evening spent some time in the legislative session prior to them coming to us to vote on. And so if we're wanting to have any of that green language in there that really gives options to local districts on how that's implemented, this is the time to be having those conversations. So she's making herself available to answer questions and give instruction on how to be more involved as school board members. So Dawn and I have been sending out on the weekends. We've been taking turns sending out an email about what we're hearing on our legislative policy committee meetings with OSBA on Fridays, and what's coming up for bills in the week that are being heard on the Senate and education committees. And we'll be sending the link and information that Emily sent out and forwarding that to all of you, so you can join in on that conversation if you'd like.
I'm just going to add, she's going to be doing it weekly every Sunday night from 7 to 8, I believe. And the beginning is just going to be a lot of education, but then about hearings and all of that. And then each week will be information. And since she's on the committee for education, she will have some insights that we may not get from other places.
Thank you both so much. And thank you for all, as you can see, I mean, not all of these bills are necessarily going to make it to the House floor, but they might. And as Greg has warned us, things are going to start to get more and more fast and furious. And the legislature, there's a lot of new legislators this year, and that sort of contributes to the chaos a little bit. And so I just want to thank both of you for the work that you're doing. I mean, I'm plugged into working with Greg, but not nearly at the level both of you are. So thank you for we've talked a lot about lifts tonight, and you both are doing a lot of heavy lifting. Plus you have to deal with my emails in between. So thank you. Okay, Equity, Diversity, and Inclusion Committee. We have an update in the committee.
Good evening, everyone. I really do try to avoid all that sound because it's really annoying, and then here I am doing. We, our Equity and Diversity and Inclusion Committee met this last week. We are getting really close to have something to propose to the board, which is really, really exciting. We had Charlie Bauer come in and do a short presentation on reading data, and it was really helpful. But something that was really helpful, because Charlie has been doing so much work for so many years in equity work, it was really helpful to have some fresh eyes and to have a really robust discussion around what it is that we want to do and what are our goals, and having some tangible, smart goals. So there, yes, because we're going to include equity into that SMART goal. So we have something that it's really close to getting ready to be proposed to the board. It's been really exciting to have a lot of dialogue, which is encouraging. I think in this work, a lot of this work is processing externally and internally. It's not work that should be passive, although we oftentimes just want to get it done really quick. So it's been great. And I don't have anything else to add unless I would give you all of the other details, but I think that that's sufficient for now.
I just wanted to thank Nancy and Charlie. She and Charlie facilitated our meeting last week. I was in Portland in Snowpocalypse 2023 with 17 other people that went to the National Association of Bilingual Education. It was phenomenal. I'll save that for another day. But just wanted to give a shout out to Nancy and Charlie who helped facilitate so we could keep the momentum going on the committee. Thank you. That's all I have too.
That's really exciting.
I have a quick question.
Please.
Are there parents ever involved in that? Because I know of someone who would like to be included in these discussions, and I don't know, would they be in contact with you or?
I would say direct them to Kelly. And yes, we do have parents and we have youth and we have representation from, I think all of the schools from the school district. And it's been really engaging because these topics are not necessarily obvious, and it really requires a lot of vulnerability and also courage to have these conversations, to ask a lot of questions, to really be thoughtful, because fortunately many of us have grown up with a lot of privilege. So these are things that we typically don't ever have to think about, but it's really valuable when we get to think about them in a different way to really serve our community, to serve our students, and to really help us just be better, to better lead this district in a way that it's more thoughtful and inclusive. And it just creates opportunities for accessibility and belonging.
Great. I'll pass that along to them.
Yeah, I would just echo that. We have a couple people that have that thought they could participate early on and ended up not. So our group is a little smaller than we would have liked. And we would like this group to stay together for 2+ years. And we can certainly catch somebody up and kind of help. We've done some work to make sure we are in a safe environment and can have honest conversations around our interactions together. And so we would want to take time to do that, but we would rather have a few more since some of our people can.
And are you all working on a proposal for revisions to the district's equity policy? Is that what you're doing? Okay. As you were saying that, first of all, I think that's really exciting because I think we were all excited to pass that, but also felt like it needed some more. And so I'm excited to hear that. I was just thinking about the fact that that's happening. And one thing I would encourage everyone from the committee to do is just make sure, and Brent, I'm sure you're plugged in, but make sure that you're plugged in with Brent and Yasmin from a budgeting standpoint so that, you know, if there are asks in that policy related to staffing and things like that, that we have an idea of what the budgeting supports will need to look like to support the policy.
That's a great call out, Michael.
Yeah.
Actually, that we do have an EDI budget. So we do have some money allocated for that. And there's also really specific asks.
Awesome.
Of course, the asks are going to supersede what we have.
Sure.
But it is a starting point.
Yeah, that's great. Thank you so much. And thank you for that work.
So the legislative language is it needs to go to district ways and means.
District ways and means. That's it. Yeah, absolutely. Yes. Yes. Great. Thank you for that. Okay, so March 16th is our next meeting and it's a work session. We have a couple of items that have been requested and discussed to be on that. The first is, excuse me, a budgeting and finance 101. We're coming into budget season. And that was something that has been discussed and requested. And then the next is a conversation about student safety and just broadly and at times specifically what we can do to continue to support and ensure our students are safe. So those are the two topics we have so far. I'm tempted to probably add Tura to that too, and maybe give them 20 minutes or something like, maybe find out, how long they need, but that seems like an appropriate amount of time. I was just looking at the April 6th agenda, and we have a Q&A for the long-term recovery group on there. And so, and also just the timeliness of it. So maybe that would be a good time to do the Tura conversation too, if that works for everybody. Have them come and present. Yeah. Does that work?
I think for timing purposes, it makes sense more,
Yeah.
rather than waiting till April.
Yeah.
And I think with budget 101 and timing those out, safety might be a longer discussion, but if budget 101 is about 20 minutes, TER is about 20 minutes, and then the rest of the time on safety, that might be able to work.
Great. Sounds good. Anybody have anything to add regarding the work session?
Only that we may be at a legislative deadline or something that we may just potentially have a conversation if there's something happening legislatively as
Okay.
well. Because I think we're going to start to get to some deadlines of when things might be
Good call
narrowing
out.
down.
Okay. Yeah, we can be nimble about that. So yeah, great. Okay. And then on that topic, the agenda for the April 6th meeting is in your packet for review. So please let me know if you have any questions or concerns about that. And that is all. We are adjourned. Well done.